guys and welcome, my name is Jude and today I am here to do a movie review for Call Me By Your Name. I should already have a book review up for this one, a spoiler and no spoiler talk, so I will link them down below in case you want to check them out. But this will be a non-spoiler review for the film. So Call Me By Your Name. I had no idea that this movie was gonna come out until a coworker of mine was just so enthusiastic about Timothy, the main protagonist, and she had been following the project for a while and she was like, we need to read this book before the movie comes out. Then we saw that the audiobook was narrated by Armie Hammer, the other protagonist of this story, so we listened to the audiobook and we were just ready to watch this movie. We watched it on Christmas and it was everything we could have hoped for and more, and it was so beautiful. Now of course, since I had read the book previously, I knew what I was going to watch at the theater, you know, I knew the main storyline and it was just very very excited to watch it unfold on screen. But as I was watching the movie, I was trying to think how someone that didn't know about the story would react to it, and it was very interesting because the story doesn't really start off, like it doesn't really have a start in the film. It's not like a perfect arc of a storyline and plot that just, you know, goes into a climax and then, you know, the ending. No, it was very interesting because it was just a bunch of shots of this beautiful summer in Italy with no real context. I don't think you're able to actually tell where the story is going from the very first half of the movie. It's not until, you know, there's a very specific scene in which you realize like, oh, Elio and Oliver had a thing going on. And I think it was a surprise for many of the people in the theater because many people, once the plot was evident that it was a romance between Elio and Oliver, they left the theater. Many people left the theater. So the romance sort of just creeps up on you. I mean, looking back on the film, you can tell that there's just hints here and there that something's gonna happen, but I don't think it's quite as noticeable or visible. So it was a very interesting experience on that part. But this is where, having read the book first, was such an interesting experience because the scenes of the film are very much on par with the ones on the book, you know? It's a very loyal to the book. There's parts, for example, where Oliver touches Elio's shoulder in the book and Elliot just talks about that moment for pages and pages on end, and it's all in his head and how he feels and how that touch was and what it meant and whatnot. And in the film, it's just like, you know, just Oliver touches Elio on the shoulder. And that's how it is in real life. I think that, I mean, books tend to be very introspective and you live a lot in the main character's head. And that's what happens, you know, scenes so big, like actions taking like this humongous action in the book. And then you see it on film and it's like, he just touched his shoulder. There's another scene in which Oliver leans into Elliot to light up his cigarette, and the shot is so far away from them and you see them, you know, you see that they're lighting up a cigarette. But in the book, Elliot's like, Oliver leaned into me and I felt him close and we were just mere inches apart. And in the film, it just seems so inconsequential. And I was just dying. I was like, ah! Me and my friend were both dying because we knew, and it's that sense of, oh, I know what's going on. So that was very interesting and very contrasting, you know, because yes, we tend to overanalyze things, but in reality it's just actions happening in the real world. And this novel is basically Elio overanalyzing everything. So I would say that if you enjoyed the movie and you have not read the book, it is definitely worth reading. You get so much more out of it than the movie. I mean, always, the films tend to be a lot more brief, you know, and it's worth always reading the book, but in this case it's like, it's really worth it. But in an overall sense, I definitely thought that the movie captured the essence of the book beautifully. It was just as heartbreaking and beautiful. I actually cried during the movie. I was just sobbing, whereas in the book I didn't cry. The book is a lot more thought out and you sort of see how things are gonna play out, so even though things are beautiful and very touching near the end, I didn't cry, whereas in the film it's just raw emotion because the movie is amazingly acted. I really do hope that Timothy, the main character who plays Elio, I really hope he gets an Oscar because he was just, I can't even tell you how beautiful it was. The last shot of that film, the credits just start rolling and you're watching Elio on screen and you don't even realize that the credits have rolled when they turned on the lights. And I was like, what? And you know, the credits had passed and they had emptied the theater and every single person that stayed during the movie was still there because it was just so jarring and so beautiful, and I couldn't even believe it. The movie does have a bit of a different ending than the book. Just the movie ends, and in the book it continues a couple of years later, and I actually like how the ending was left in the movie. I liked the movie a lot more than the book on the ending. Yeah. Overall, I would not be able to say that I like the movie more than the book or the book more than the movie, because I think they both worked perfectly well to complement each other, and I think that's what makes book to movie adaptations great, when both can stand apart and they just work perfectly well together as companions. Because I am a firm believer that you do not need to read a book to watch a movie and to enjoy it. No, like no. So Call Me By Your Name had to be the best movie of 2017 that I saw. I cannot wait to watch it again here in Mexico, because I went and I paid $13 to watch it in the US. That's really, really fucking expensive, man. So I hope it will be released soon here in Mexico and I can watch it for like $3, because yeah, that's how much movies should cost. So Call Me By Your Name. Have you watched it? Did you enjoy it? If you didn't, why didn't you like it? I thought it was beautiful, thought-provoking, well, more like feelings. I just felt so vulnerable after I watched that movie, and all of the feelings were there, you know? It was like feelings. I loved it and I would recommend it for everyone. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the movie. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!